Hello, hello. Welcome to a kind of improvised stream. I don't really have a proper background right now because apparently YouTube changed their layout sizing slightly, and my previous one was set up like I like the whole background, like the gray one, had like a hole cut in it for the exact size of the YouTube player. So I didn't really have time to fix that. This is my improvised version, which is basically just cutting out the YouTube player, then using the same color background so that it looks like a thing. Yeah, it's a bit dark, but I don't know. I think it kind of works. It's good enough for now. It was my compromise. I'll have to fix it up sometime. But yeah. What's that a cover? Yeah, this stream, I'm aiming for like 2 hours tops so we can play Look Outside afterwards. This video here is 1 hour. There is 2 other videos that are almost half an hour I wanted to watch, but I don't think we'll get to them. So yeah, I'm kind of allowing for 2 hours to watch this 1 hour video, just factoring in my rambling. But I will be trying to keep it shorter than that, honestly. Yeah. But as it's titled, yeah, it's exposing Trackmania's biggest con man. This is by the YouTuber Virtual, who is very big in the Trackmania scene. And yeah, they put this out 12 days ago. It's got 1.9 million views. And yeah, it's just called Exposing Trackmania's Biggest Con Man. He's done 2 follow-up videos. One was 22 minutes called My Viewers Ask Me Tough Questions About Riolu. That's the person who cheated or is a fraud or whatever. And then I think he got banned because then there's a follow-up 6-minute video called They Actually Did It. But I don't think we'll get to those 2 others. This was the main one I wanted to watch. Yeah, there might be like not that much for me to actually say, so we may get to them. But I am keeping the limit to 2 hours. That way at least we should definitely be able to get through this one. And then we can start Look Outside in a separate stream at 12:40. So that's my plan. I have coffee. I have peach monster in the freezer. I have Rockstar in the fridge. We should be good. Kitty also has Red Bull or 7 Bull. That's something. Alright, I'm going to set my timer so my drink does not freeze. You can go down there. As usual, way too many things on my screen. But yeah, I don't really know too much about this beyond the fact that it's yeah, Trackmania, exposing Trackmania's biggest con man. It's an hour long. It is by one of the biggest Trackmania YouTubers, so I think it's like serious, interesting video, hopefully. So it's got almost 2 million views in 12 days. It definitely blew up. And yeah, for me, like, I haven't played Trackmania in many years, but I have a lot of nostalgia for it. In high school, I played it a lot. Both in general, and also it was like a game that was pretty common at some of the hosted LANs around here. That and like Call of Duty 4 and stuff, so kind of some nostalgia there for me. And I just think it's a cool game, so yeah, when I saw this, it was interesting, and it was one of them ones that I would often like throw on my second monitor or something, but you know, figured why not? We can hang out and chill for a bit and yeah, see if it's interesting. But yeah, said my I don't know, the YouTube player, I think like the layout hasn't changed, but the sizing changed, which broke my normal one. So we have this for now, and I'll have to fix up some others. I'd be meaning to do that so we have like some different background options, but because of the way I set it up, like specifically cut a hole out for the player at the exact size, I couldn't change it simply without making others, but now that one's broken, which is also the downside. So yeah, I just have a color background that matches the YouTube background, and then I cut out the player in like a square, but it doesn't look like it because it's, yeah. This was my quick fix compromise, basically. So it's quite dark, but I think it also kind of works. Like, I don't think it's too bad, actually. Alright, that is my ramble intro done. Hello, species. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Evening, yeah. Yeah, that it is. Hello, Daypro. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Kitty is Red Bull. I know Kitty's gonna fly off. It's alright. He's there, you know. Kitty can handle things. Big fan of Red Bull. Sorry, 7 Bull. Pepsi. All the classic drinks. Hello, Sarah. Good to see you again. Hope you're doing well. Maybe set a timer for 2 hours. Well, I set a timer here under chat for my drink. So, yeah, I'll try and I'll keep an eye on things. Yeah, that's all right. I done my ramble intro. Otherwise, just going to jump into this. And yeah, so we've got 2 hours before the next stream's planned, which gives me like, you know, I have an hour worth of rambling to match the hour-long video. So I am going to try and keep it shorter. I mean, I'm not going to talk less necessarily, but, you know, I want to be able to fit the video in comfortably and then have a long look outside stream. I keep wanting to call it like don't look or don't look outside. Because like the game's called Look Outside, but that's the last thing you're meant to do. So, But yeah, I got plenty of time for that, so we'll do 6 or 7 hours, I'm hoping. If I look outside, should be good. And yeah. I think we'll jump into this. Hope for the best. Gonna drink my coffee. Gonna make sure that you guys are gonna be able to hear it. That would be good. Also forgot to put my royalty-free music on while I rambled at the start here. Gotta remember that. Alright, can you guys hear it? Didn't think so. Also, holy shit loud. Yeah, I have 2 main audio like channels that I have on my computer. One for anything that OBS is going to pick up, and one for like everything I don't want OBS to pick up. Why am I not getting settings? Ay. My YouTube, I mean, Windows settings are just not showing things for some reason. That's very helpful. Hello Mace, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, I don't know, how many of you guys have played Trackmania? I think this is one of the videos that can be interesting anyway, because, you know, cheating, scandal stuff. I don't know, it's interesting. But yeah, a lot of nostalgia in Trackmania for me. I mainly played Trackmania United Forever. Yeah, good times. I was not expecting Windows to fail. Slight technical difficulties. How are you guys doing? Hopefully well. God damn it. Windows, why? Why you do me like this? Okay. Okay. Compromise. How can I swap the audio? Solution. Wait, can I play that through? No, they're both A1. Oh, I don't know. Seriously? I'll show you guys what I'm seeing. I mean, for anyone familiar, like with you go into like the sound settings, you have like a list of all your apps and you can like change things. If anyone curious why I'm stumped here, link in chat. It's just not showing any of them. That's, you know, that's very helpful. Can we have settings? No? God damn it. Manage sound devices. Okay, I don't know what to do. How bothersome. Okay. Temporary solution. Okay, can I change? Okay, temporary fix, maybe. Not an ideal one. I think you turn it off that.
As one of the biggest voices in
Okay. That's not an ideal fix, but we'll take it.
the Trackmania community,
You guys can hear that, I'm assuming. Alrighty. Exposing Trackmania's biggest con man. But good.
As one of the biggest voices in the Trackmania community, I often get asked to use my platform for the sake of good. On the Trackmania Reddit page, the user ModdedMana brought up that Virtual could use his reach for something useful for once, and expose such toxic behavior. Toxicity in Trackmania is something to be talked about, and you could probably write a book about it by now. This user is, unfortunately, completely correct. There's been a lot of bad things happening that nobody is talking about, and it shouldn't be that way. Recently, I was approached with information that, if true, would challenge what everyone in Trackmania believes to be real. A story so preposterous it would be easiest to sweep it under the rug and ignore it. But when I come across heavy information, I believe that players have a right to know what's been going on, and that I have a responsibility to talk about it. My goal as a creator is, and has always been, to share my passion and enjoyment for Trackmania with you, and I will of course continue to do so. But please know before we dive deeper into this topic, that this video is going to be very different from my other content. If you watch my channel for fun stories, this video is not going to be one. You see, the message I received was about the player Eddie Rising, a new talent in Trackmania Lagoon, who over the last 2 years climbed to rank 1 in the game. By many, he is seen as a player to be celebrated, but after researching this topic, I am no longer so sure.
I think this is going to make me want to play Trackmania again. It's been so long.
The message contained concerns that Eddie isn't who he's claiming to be. The more I dug for evidence to support this claim, the more I was astounded by what I discovered. Not only was there proof that this is true, but it also seemed possible that Eddie could have pretended to be other people in the community, including this ModdedMana account on Reddit. The finds in this investigation have all pointed towards one player being behind the Eddie account, and that is Riolu, the biggest cheater in Trackmania history, and someone who hasn't had any communication with the community since 2021. This story is equal parts fascinating and unsettling, and uncovers some of the wildest behaviors I've ever seen on the internet. Fasten your seatbelts, everybody, because there is a lot to talk about. This is the story of Trackmania's biggest con man.
Is the volume and stuff okay for you guys? I think this will be an interesting one. I don't know. It's making me want to play Trackmania already, though. It's just it's one of these games that's just like super chill to play. It's a good, like, even though you gotta concentrate on the race, it's like the type of game you can kind of like watch other stuff while you're playing. I know it's good. Sounds good for me? Okay, cool.
Before we go on, I'd like to thank Arcus, Darklink, Lufok, Tomashu, Big Bang 1112, Kim, and Socram David. Players that, if it weren't for their help, this investigation would not have been possible. I would also like to say that this video is made with the main objective of informing the Trackmania community and documenting the events that have happened. Please do not attempt to contact or harass the players mentioned in this video. By publishing this information, we hope to achieve a better competitive environment in Trackmania, and any and all harassment would only counteract this effort. Thank you and enjoy. For those that don't know the backstory of Riolu, I will quickly go through it since it is important context for this video. In 2021, it was discovered that replay files in the game store the exact steering inputs a player does in their run. The community member Donadigo made a tool to visualize these steering inputs, so players could better see how the best drivers—
Sorry, let me go back there. I was making a note.
This video. In 2021, it was discovered that replay files in the game store the exact steering inputs a player does in their run.
Wait, why was that like discovered? You think if that was like a thing in the local files, it'd just be like something they would announce? I don't know. That's interesting though. It's cool.
The community member Donadigo made a tool to visualize these steering inputs, so players could better see how the best drivers had steered the car in their records. In most cases, this tool worked perfectly fine, but when it was used to display the inputs in records driven by Riolu, it would show inhumanly quick and jittery steering inputs. This eventually led to a huge cheating investigation looking at records in all Trackmania games, and a detailed report later proved, along with admissions from some of the cheaters, that records with these inhuman inputs had been achieved by driving in slow motion, using Cheat Engine to slow down the game speed. This cheating method was incredibly effective, as it allowed the cheaters to have superhuman precision and reaction time, in a game all about shaving off hundredths of a second. And for the longest time, it was completely undetectable.
That's a pretty smart way to cheat. Like if you can't see the inputs on screen, like that ends up completely hidden. I mean, I feel like if you paid like really close attention, maybe you'd be able to pick some things up, but in the end it'd be just kind of like things that might look a little odd or something, but really, But man, the lengths some people go to cheat, it's wild. Like, it's just one of those things that like, I don't know, everyone's different, everyone has their like things. It's just, for me, it's hard to imagine. Like, I can't, how to put it, like, I can't imagine that feeling within myself, that desire. Like, I don't know what that would feel like to try and like cheat something. I like, in terms of records online, like, is it a thing where you just want to be known or something? Because it's kind of weird when you're doing it under different names. Like, what's the motivation? Like, I don't know, it's strange to me. Like, especially under different names. Like, are you just trying to like prove you can get away with it to yourself because you think that'd be like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, it's just interesting. Because like some things, like even though I would never do it, like I can understand the thinking or whatever. If it was something like that, I don't know, it's like, yeah, it could just be that. Like maybe it's like a narcissism thing. Like you think you're better than them all because you can get away with it. So you like keep doing it to like show, even though it's to yourself, you're like just proving to yourself how much better you are because you can get away with it. Like some weird narcissism thing, or I don't know, maybe I'm overthinking it, I don't know.
Out of the cheaters exposed in the report, Riolu was by far the most severe. He used Cheat Engine to set records in Trackmania United Forever, Trackmania Nations Forever, Trackmania 2 Canyon, Valley, Stadium, Lagoon, Trackmania Turbo, and recently it was discovered that he possibly cheated in slow motion in Trackmania 2020 as well. During his years of cheating, he completely dominated the leaderboards.
Has anyone played the latest Trackmania that's just called Trackmania? I didn't know about it for a while. I think like most of my hours are just back in United Forever. It was really good.
At one point, Riolu simultaneously held 62 out of 65 world records in Trackmania 2 Canyon campaign, and later 64 out of 65 in Trackmania Valley. He achieved these feats while holding rank 1 in Trackmania United Forever, and in 2019, he managed to clean sweep Trackmania Turbo, with 200 out of 200 world records on official maps at the same time.
What the fuck? That's some wild success with cheating.
In 2015, he was invited to drive strong official target times for the Super Trackmaster campaign in Trackmania Turbo. The community at the time thought he was simply the GOAT, but as we would later learn, these accomplishments were all cheated, including the official target times driven for Nadeo in Trackmania Turbo. In total, it amounts to a decade of cheating, from 2011 to 2020, and it's estimated that he set thousands of cheated records during this time, making him by far the biggest cheater in Trackmania history, if not in all of video games.
Yeah, well, it's just he was saying that, I'm thinking like that could be like one of the biggest cheating successes ever. That's wild. And so over so long, like, yeah, that's crazy.
He was without a doubt also a good player. He proved that in live competitions and by setting world records on his live stream. but the most competitive and precise maps he would conveniently grind off-stream. From 2015 to 2021, Riolu was building a career as a Trackmania live streamer, and by the time the cheating came to light, he had become rather successful. But when the report was about to be published, he had to face the sobering reality that 10 years of bad decisions were catching up to him. Rather than owning up to it and taking accountability, Riolu crashed out in a now infamous livestream, where, for the duration of an hour, he gaslit his audience, denied ever having cheated, and called parts of the investigation a witch hunt and an attempt at blackmailing. All of this backfired when the report came out, and people got to see the inputs for themselves.
That's wild, like, over like nearly 10 years. And not to mention, like, it looks like, I mean, I only saw a bit there, but it looks like he had built himself up big enough on Twitch that it could be a career. Like, and I guess it started before that, but still, think about the fact that you've built yourself up enough that you can make a living playing a racing game while just like chilling with people. And you just fucked that up completely with cheating. Which I guess you started with cheating before it too, it's just... like, that's like a literal... I mean, whatever game it would be, like, just having a specific game you really enjoy and you play it for a living, like, that's dream job status for, like, so many people. Man. And I don't know if that was just because something was going on, but in that clip, he had, like, 3,900 viewers. Even if he normally only has 1,000, which I'm saying only, but relative to that, like, even if he had a quarter of that usually... that's more than just making a living. Like, you could make some serious money off that. That's enough to get sponsors, decent ad rates, plus all, you know, the memberships and everything. That's some serious money. Goddamn. What a dumb fuck. Oh, hello again, Candid Lithograph. Hope you're doing well. What's up, early bads? Yeah, it is a bit earlier than usual. I just really wanted to watch this. I'm mostly looking forward to playing more Look Outside later. That was really good last night. Really cool game. But yeah, thought I might as well just chill and watch this rather than do it off stream. Cheating made their career, cheating in their career. Yeah, I mean, I guess it kind of did too. But like, at least from what we're hearing already, it sounded like he was a good player. So I guess like once he'd already cheated, it could have just always come out, but yeah. It just feels like he could have, I don't know, he just lost so much. I got a wild story I was researching this morning. Oh, okay. I mean, like YouTube related or like just... either way, let me know.
And it left many with an even worse impression that Riolu had continued to try to lie to the bitter end.
Wild stories are good. I mean, this is a wild story.
Shortly after that stream, Riolu shut down his Discord server and presumably logged off all social media. It has now been almost 4 years since these events have happened, and Riolu hasn't been seen in Trackmania since. He never took any accountability for the cheating, and he never apologized.
Damn, so he just like closed everything off and left. Except apparently he didn't leave, he just like started under a different name. That's I mean, it's wild. But man, like, a lot of his life was Trackmania. Like, it's yeah.
Most players thought he had decided to leave Trackmania behind and moved on to other things in his life. But as we will discuss today, that is not the case. The reason I'm bringing all of this up is because the person that contacted me is Arcus, a leaderboard moderator for Trackmania Exchange. And Arcus had strong reasons to believe that Riolu was now playing under the name Eddie Rising.
I mean, the crazy thing is though, whatever this results in, couldn't he just do this again? Like, couldn't he just make a new account in a couple months and continue under a different name? There's kind of nothing to stop someone doing that. Like, it's not hard to buy a game. Different account, different email. I mean, I still want to know what happens and everything, but I feel like you can't really stop someone. Like, yeah, you can destroy one name, but he's already popped up more than once. I get into very niche stuff. I was reading up on deaths of Nadab and Abihu in the Bible. They got burned alive by holy fire for doing a ritual wrong. It's a wild story. I know it's the Bible and the Old Testament is based on your mythology, but still. They were the sons of Aaron and brother of Moses. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I find the Bible super interesting. There is so much like... Yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff connected to it. I really liked, what did I watch recently? What was it? Oh, yeah, a 2-hour video Wendigoon did called The Bible Lore Iceberg. That was really good. It like kind of went into like the weirder and weirder stuff as it went down. That was a really good video. Link in chat if anyone wants something for later. It was really interesting. True, but people may figure out after time. Also, you lose that audience you had before. Yeah, it's... Yeah. I mean, but he's already done it once, that's a thing. I mean, it is a punishment for sure. It's definitely a big hit. But... he kind of like... he got away with this for like 4 years, it seems. Like, despite getting banned or not banned, but like... he disappeared seemingly to most people's knowledge. But this new name, he got away with for 4 years. Like, that is a lot. They approach the sacrificial altar and use their own senses to light the flames. Apparently Yahweh normally lights the sacrifice with magical flames from on high. When the two sons light the sacrifice with their own profane fire, gods light the sacrifice with the holy fire right then, and it burns both men to death. Damn. I mean, a lot of stories like that, they just, they can be true. I mean, well, they're like, the core is true. Like, there could have been some, like, gas involved that, like, blew up the fires and... so, I don't know, when you read stories like that, it's interesting to think about, like, the possibilities of what happened in like, the more practical sense that could have seemed like that. I don't know. It's interesting. But does not singe their clothes, and the bodies are to be removed, only touching the tunics, because their flesh is now holy, and to touch their flesh would also be profane. Oh, okay. Yeah, stuff kind of like the Bible, and there's a lot of like crazy stuff in there that no one really talks about. Yeah, no, it's really interesting. It's hard to know what's true, and it's not even like so much true or not. It's more. It's very difficult with the Bible to like know how literal certain things should be taken. A lot of the Bible is symbolic and use parables. Yeah, yeah. And I feel like so much has probably been lost with time. And all like different translations and... if that doesn't sound like some Dark Souls shit, I don't know what it does. Yeah, I know I'm aware of the wilder stories, but this one's fairly new to me. I'm just asking the story. Yeah, no, it's interesting, yeah. Yeah, that, yeah, the YouTube video I linked is really good. Goes into, like, a bunch of different things that happened. It's essentially like a, well, yeah, but it's called a, like, Bible lore, whatever I just said. But it's, kind of goes through some of the more obscure events and different things and gets weirder and more crazy as it goes down. Some pretty rough stories. But we should, well, we can still chat about anything, but I should continue this video because I have an hour and a half to the next stream.
Trackmania Exchange hosts the main for Trackmania Exchange, and Arcus had strong reasons to believe that Riolu was now playing under the name Addy Rising.
Oh yeah, go redhead. Sorry for the detail. No, it's all good, all good. I'm not usually limited on time, obviously, so I'm happy to ramble about stuff. Just yeah.
Trackmania Exchange hosts the main leaderboards used in Trackmania United Forever. This website stores millions of replay files of players' records dating all the way back to 2008. Replay files contain a great deal of information. As mentioned, they contain inputs.
Oh, okay, this is what I was wondering before. I didn't say it aloud, because I was confused about when they talked about that input thing being discovered. I was thinking like, oh, so was that like... I thought maybe they made a rule after it was discovered that you had to show your inputs on the screen, and that's why they discovered his stuff. But I guess everyone had always been uploading replay files, but it was only recently, or 2021, where they realized they could go check old replay files and see the inputs. Or they probably matched the inputs with a new name. Actually, yeah, I don't know how that happened, but I guess we'll see on that. Yeah, no, that could be related, yeah. I was more just thinking about the fact that I didn't realize, yeah, they could go back and check all these old inputs and see those spammy clicks and everything. Because I was thinking like maybe it just looked weird on the new runs. But yeah, if they had had access to all these old replay files and suddenly they can check something they didn't know they could check, I mean, that opens up a whole rabbit hole. I imagine there was quite a few cheaters exposed.
But they also tell you what in-game account any run was driven on. In Trackmania, game accounts are called logins. A login cannot be changed after an account is created, and has to be unique from all other players. Replay files also store information about the display name a player used. It tells you the name of the skin they used, and the flag or avatar that they have selected. There's more things too, but they aren't relevant for this video. Based on these identifiers, Arcus had legitimate reason to believe that Eddie Rising wasn't who he was claiming to be. And in November of 2024, he messaged Eddie on Discord with his findings, in a conversation we will take a look at later. The final communication between the two is that Arcus asked Eddie to record a voice message to prove his identity, to which Eddie answered he didn't appreciate being talked to in a condescending way, as if he was some sort of criminal. He said he would provide everything Arcus requested just to get this weird topic off the table, but shortly after sending these messages, he completely vanished, and Eddie hasn't been seen in the game or on Discord for the last 3 months. As he was one of the best Lagoon players, it was odd for him to just leave without any notice. In January of 2023, Eddie made...
I love watching people bust cheaters. It's such a cool process. Yeah. I always enjoy these type of things. Like the speedrunning cheating videos are interesting too. I'm always interested in displays of mastery, and there's a lot of that when someone is proving a cheater. Yeah, I quite enjoy the ones like some of the speedrunning cheating stuff where they go into like the more technical details and stuff. It's really interesting.
His first appearance in the Trackmania community.
Like Carl Jobst and Abysssoft do good stuff. I think is it Abysssoft? I always mix up two. Because Abysssoft, yeah. I have permission to watch their stuff, which is also nice. They have one Diablo speedrunning video I still haven't got around to watching. Yeah, I need to watch that. I'll link to Abysssoft in chat. They're cool. And it's nice that they gave me permission to watch their stuff. So I appreciate that.
When he published his first YouTube video, a 7th place in the world on the official track Coast B1. Based on the aforementioned Eddie made his first appearance in... Notice. In January of 2023, Eddie made his first appearance in the Trackmania community, when he published his first YouTube video, a 7th place in the world on the official track Coast B1. Based on the aforementioned identifiers, we know this record was driven on the login Ponzor22. This track has over 30,000 players on the leaderboards, so setting a time in the top 10 is very respectable, especially for what seemed to be a brand new player. Over the next weeks, Eddie continued to post records in Trackmania United that went mostly unnoticed, as the tracks he competed on were rather obscure. But in April he got inspired to play a different game, Trackmania 2 Lagoon, and his arrival on the leaderboards was impossible to miss. On the 29th of April, all the best Lagoon players were quite literally shocked when Eddie, on his first day of playing the game, managed to achieve 8 top 10 records in the world. And not only that, the maps he drove were the first 15 you encounter, and thus some of the most prestigious to hold the top records on. But Eddie made it seem effortless to climb as high as 2nd place out of 15,000 players on each track he hunted, all in the same afternoon. A streak of records like this from an unknown player was completely unheard of, and top players felt it just cannot be possible to get this good this quickly, since they themselves had spent years getting to their skill level. It was quickly assumed that Eddie had to be either a smurf or a cheater. Eddie explained that he had some experience from playing Lagoon in Trackmania Turbo on console, and that the way he was able to achieve all the records was from rigorous practice beforehand. He said he would rebuild the map into several smaller sections to learn it more effectively, as well as comparing replays to analyze mistakes, saying he made very quick progress, as he just had to copy his muscle memory from practice maps to real ones.
That is suspicious indeed. Yeah, like a lot of players, like, be a little, well, it'd still be suspicious, but it'd be a bit different if the map was more obscure and less people ever tried it and I don't know, something, but yeah.
And evidently, this method worked because his runs were almost immediately the fastest in the world. He also live recorded all his runs and included footage of the gameplay sessions in his video, making it significantly harder to get away with cheating. The same day as the spree of records, Eddie joined several community servers on Discord, introducing himself to other players and attempting to put their doubts to rest. This is also where he shares the first details about himself and his life. Eddie says he lives in Kazakhstan, has a full-time job, and mentions having a wife and a baby boy on several occasions. Over the summer of 2023, Eddie continued to set insane times. Out of 65 official tracks in the game, Eddie at the time held the world records on 19 of them. He accomplished this without even unlocking all the tracks yet, which he do by beating silver medal target times. These are ridiculously easy for someone driving at world record pace to unlock, but in 5 months of playing, he still hadn't unlocked them all. One time when asked why his display name looked so old school, Eddie explained that he had a background in playing Trackmania Nations Forever in 2010, and by checking the online database Trackmania, they could see that Ponzor22 indeed had online records all the way back in 2009. His backstory checked out, and it added more credence to his skill. But to many players, something still seemed strange about him. Members of a Discord server that Eddie frequented said Eddie would often join their voice calls and watch other top players livestream their attempts.
Nobody turns on a game for the first time, you get top records on tracks, you have to learn the track first. Even Mario Kart, you have to learn the track. Yeah, I guess he's kind of got answers for that stuff, but it's all like too convenient. And like going from console, I mean, that can give you knowledge, but like, I mean, I suppose if you use the same controller, maybe. And I'm not gonna lie, I did a lot of smurfing during my COD days. Okay. One is understandable, but you need a lot of practice to understand to pull it off. Yeah, I mean, it's obviously gonna raise a lot of red flags too when you're breaking. It's not like he broke one record, and then like it was like a month later got another one. It was like multiple in an afternoon. Console, if you have the same controller, would be the same. Yeah, that would definitely help transferring, but yeah, obviously breaking multiple records like in an afternoon, it's gonna raise some red flags. The difference is I didn't tell anybody, that was better than I was. Yeah, I mean, this type of thing's a bit different, obviously.
But he would personally never talk, always citing having his microphone muted in order to not disturb his wife. Over the next year, Eddie continued to grind Lagoon, and slowly but surely became a trusted member of the community.
Just prefer to restart from scratch every so often? Oh yeah.
And in the summer of 2024, Eddie decided to return to Trackmania United Forever. In the description of a video he uploaded on the 25th of July, he writes that he didn't like his old login, so he bought a new account, and from this point forward, he stops playing on Ponzor22 and makes Eddie A his new main account. In November of 2024, Arcus is browsing Trackmania.
Ponzor is definitely a very like 2009 name. I committed, felt good to win a bunch. Do you move up the rankings? Oh yeah. Smurfing is when you make a new account, not quite sure. Yeah, I think it typically it'll mean like, yeah, making a new account so you can play against new players when you're a skilled player type of thing. Because a lot of games have, you know, the matchmaking based on your account and stuff. So you can be good at the game, make a new account, and then suddenly you're versing new players and destroy them. It's like, it's a little shady, but it's like, it's also It's not really harming anyone in most cases. I mean, if it's just a general public game type thing, you know. It's basically when you start a new account to take your skills, the bottom of the ladder, and win a bunch. Yeah. If you post a video of yourself being like, oh my god, guys, I've never played this game before and I'm winning FFA 35. Yeah, that's when it's like, yeah, because I mean, it's completely different if you're making false claims versus you're just having fun with it. I mean, you could still say it's kind of something, but, you know, it's completely different than suddenly making claims like that, yeah.
Mania Exchange profiles, and stumbles upon the fact that Eddie uses 2 different logins. There isn't anything inherently wrong with having 2 accounts, but it could be a sign of account sharing or someone else driving records for you. Arcus was curious and searched the database to see if these logins showed up anywhere else on the site, and 3 replays from Ponzor22 appeared on an ancient profile, Ponzor.
I'm starting to wonder about my old profile now. Do I still have it? Did I have one? I don't know if I just played locally. Because if I had an account for Trackmania, it'd go back to like 2009. Yeah. I'd feel a little grimy just doing it at all, but like at least I wasn't lying. Yeah, no, I said, yeah, completely different thing when you're suddenly doing that, like the video example, yeah.
This profile hadn't been active since 2010.
You can probably recover it. Yeah, I'll have to check.
It had 4 records driven on the leaderboards, and 3 of them were driven on Ponzor22.
I had some like local records or whatever you'd call them, because you could like see the rankings for your like cities and country, and I forget how it was. I had some pretty high for the local, but yeah, I was nothing like crazy with it. I just enjoyed the game very casually. The middle of the bell curve is most fun once you start to lose, but back in your skill bracket feels best. Yeah. I mean, it does feel good just like winning a lot. That's fun, but yeah.
Making it seem
like when I first started Marvel Rivals, I was like destroying. It was very fun. I'd never played it, but I'd played enough of games like that. So yeah, I was like destroying, and then suddenly it was going down. I'm like, oh, now everyone's at my level. It's still fun, but there is something fun about going into your first match and going like 25-0. I think that's what it was. I have screenshots somewhere. It might have been 25-3. But it was like way ahead of everyone. Yeah, that's fun. If something is too easy, it produces boredom. If it's too difficult, it produces anxiety. Yeah. I mean, it's one of the things that if you play like 5 matches and you're destroying, that can be fun. But if you play 100, suddenly it's like, you know, challenge is good. Yeah.
Likely that this indeed was Eddie's old profile, but the 4th and final replay uploaded to the leaderboards was driven on a different login. And not just any login, it was driven on Accelerator01, which happens to be the main account of Riolu.
Houston, we have a problem.
This discovery is the reason why Arcus eventually approached Eddie in Discord.
Wait, so how are these connected? Like why? Show impones or replay data.
Driven on the leaderboards, and 3 of them were driven on.
Oh. Oh, okay. So I guess you can you can upload replay data from other accounts, I think is what I'm understanding here. And he must have not realized that on his Ponzor account, he had uploaded a replay when he was logged into his Accelerator account, which is connected to Riolu. Ah, I see. Yeah, I'm more of a story-based gamer. Yeah, I am more these days. Like, I love JRPGs and stuff, but back in high school, I really enjoyed Trackmania. I played COD 4 competitively, and they were kind of more my thing. But yeah, these days it's a mix. Like, I enjoy my sandbox, open world survival crafting, that kind of stuff. But I also really love JRPGs and very like character-focused stuff.
On Ponzor22, making it seem likely that this indeed was Eddie's old profile. But the 4th and final replay uploaded to the leaderboards was driven on a different login. And not just any login, it was driven on Accelerator01, which happens to be the main account of Riolu.
Houston, we have a problem.
This discovery is the reason why Arcus eventually approached Eddie in Discord. When confronted about it, Eddie explained that the Ponsor22 in-game account was one he shared with a friend, and that he made Eddie A to have his own one. He says he never knew there was a TMX account with the same name, and whatever happened with it, he couldn't say. When asked why some replay files have the Germany flag when Eddie is from Kazakhstan, he says, "I can only guess it was one of the people I shared account with." And when asked who these friends or people are, he was unable to name any names. And as mentioned earlier, when asked to voice chat or to record a voice message, he didn't follow through. After this conversation, Eddie went inactive.
I don't know why you wouldn't record a voice message. Like, there's so many ways to change. Like, you can just use a different voice. You can just, like, because I assume, I mean, I don't get that. That's just causing problems for yourself. Like, if you're asked to do a video and you've been on video before, that's a bit awkward. But if you're asked to do a voice, you think you'd just try and get away with it. I mean, if you're already a cheater. Everything produces anxiety for me. Oh, I'm like a switch for difficulty. It's a peaceful life. Oh no, not account sharing rip. Yeah, a bit you know, kind of got an answer for everything, but lack of proof because it would show he's the same account with voice. Oh yeah, but it's not hard to change your voice. Like, people can put on a, like, if you're only being asked to do a one-off voice verification, like, you can use a voice changer. Like, you have to send a file. Like, you've got all the control in the world over it. You know, I don't know, it just seems like an easy thing to get away with compared to if he was asked to do like a video or something. That's harder. You know, but if it's just a voice, that's easy.
Both on Discord and in-game, and hasn't been seen in the 3 months since. While it's weird to have a Riolu replay on a Trackmania exchange profile linked to your in-game account, and to disappear just after being confronted about it, it's not enough to draw any conclusions from. And in order to find out who Eddie is, we would have to dig deeper.
If it's a voice changer, they'd probably notice it. No, I wouldn't say so. It's pretty easy these days. There's good software for it. I mean, even just playing around with my like EQs and stuff, like I could change mine a fair bit. Also putting together like an AI voice is like super easy these days. There's like open source software you can use to clone voices, super easy. You can do it in like 10 minutes. If you got like a lot of training data, you know, a couple hours to make like a perfect one. But even that, you don't need to go that excessive if you're talking about a one-off verification. I mean, I'm only saying because he's already a cheater, you think he'd try and, you know, figure this out. It's not like it's a live thing, I assume. He's being asked to like send a voice thing. So you kind of got full control. I don't know. Hello, the cats. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Pathologic, Fungus, Souls, Castlevania, etc. But also like Stardew Valley, Final Fantasy, Kingdom Hearts, etc. Yeah, same, yeah. I am playing Funga at the moment, obviously. Look Outside is in that similar vein, and I've streamed Stardew Valley before. I'm planning to play Kingdom Hearts sometime. I love the older Final Fantasy. I still want to play 6 again, it was so good.
In December of 2024, Arcus messaged me with all of this information, and together with a team of players, we have tried to examine all the available evidence. Over the years, there have been many crazy theories about Riolu smurfing. Because of his swift disappearance, many found it hard to imagine he went from playing and live streaming the game every day to just immediately stopping. But all the theories so far have been completely wrong. The players Hobbit and Pustito Paco have had claims against them of being Riolu's smurf, since they rapidly improved at the game around the time he went inactive. But both have had clear alibis that prove they couldn't be Riolu. There's also the controversial 92Bob account in Trackmania United Forever, a mysterious player that started achieving world records in June of 2021.
I can't believe people are still playing United Forever, that's awesome.
Just weeks after the cheating was uncovered. This account went from having 0 skill points to 165 million and achieving rank 1 on the leaderboards in just half a year of playing. And the community deemed it impossible for an unknown player to achieve such a feat, and figured it had to be a smurf account, 92Bob has been the most suspected Riolu Smurf account since the cheating scandal, but there's never been enough evidence to conclusively prove who it belongs to.
It's a whole spectrum on difficulty for me. Yeah, difficulty is not really something I focus on. Like Fear and Hunger, like, I'm not playing it for difficulty as much as, like, it's just like a super interesting, unique game. It's an interesting setting, looks great, just, you know. I definitely play games more for experience. There's not many I really play for difficulty. Like, there's some games I play that are difficult, but it's more the nature of the experience type of thing, as opposed to, like, what I'm focusing on. Interesting. I'll need to play with that. I can tell sometimes with air voice because I don't like it. Yeah, some are more obvious, but there's some pretty good tools out there now. I try to be open to like point and click puzzle sports, but those would be genres I haven't even played the greats. I'm feeling with some good games, like what remains of Edith Finch, the Oddworld game, but could never play them myself. Oh, I loved Oddworld. Yeah, I played Abe's Odyssey so many times as a kid. It's really difficult to finish that game though, like really difficult. I don't really complete games a lot. I want to complete more though. Yeah, same on that one.
In this video, I intend to leave no room for doubt. Not just about who is behind the Eddie Rising account, but also 92Bob. As with what we have discovered, we believe we have solved both mysteries.
Hello, the BL enjoyer. I hope you're doing well. Good to see you. I mean, hello, Satrio. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well.
So let's start with the replays on Trackmania Exchange. When Riolu drove the run uploaded to Ponzor's profile, he was going for rank 1 in Trackmania United Forever. And in order to achieve that, you must obtain a lot of one particular resource, and that is coppers.
Oh my lord, I'm so late. Well, yeah, I have been streaming for already 50 minutes, haven't I? And I've got through 16 minutes. Okay, I'm not doing a good rate here. But I'm happy to chat, so we'll end up where we end up. Wait, big brain. 1.25, 1.2. We'll see. If it works, it works. It might help.
The copper system is an antique part of Trackmania and not present in newer games. But back in the day, to compete on the in-game leaderboards, you had to pay 10 coppers per attempt in official mode. It is not possible to purchase coppers from the Deo, but you receive 50 coppers for logging in each day.
Persona 5, I got it on the Steam sale. It seems epic so far. Oh yeah, that's a huge game. Yeah, I haven't finished it, but yeah, it's one of those ones I want to be ready to play because I know it's going to take me like 150 hours. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to when I have time to play that. My current like wanting to play games are Tales of Grace's F Remaster. I really want to play that next. And I'm not sure after that. There's a couple of visual novels that I want to play at the moment as well that I would not name on stream for no particular reason. See, I love those games. I've never played any of them. Okay. Honestly, watching an Oddworld, Abe's Odyssey playthrough, just like a long play is totally worth it to just see the game. It's really cool. Calling me out first thing is wild. No judgments, no judgments. Well, it's interesting with the coppers. Yeah, I want to go back to that.
It's an antique part of Trackmania and not present in newer games. But back in the day, to compete on the in-game leaderboards, you had to pay 10 coppers per attempt in official mode. It is not possible to purchase coppers from the Deo, but you receive 50 coppers for logging in each day. And you get 30 coppers each time you beat the gold medal on a track in official mode. This alone is hardly enough to sustain thousands of attempts at getting the best records. And many players don't bother with the in-game leaderboards for this reason. But for the players going for rank 1 in-game, it was essential to have a big bankroll of coppers to fund their grinding sessions, and farming copper competitions would have been a very important thing for this reason. The track where we found our real replay on the Ponzor account just so happens to be one where the prize pool for the best times was 36,000 coppers. We decided to scan all of Trackmania Exchange for users that had Accelerator 01 replays uploaded, and we ended up finding 2 more profiles. One of them was Cyrox, which had a Riolu replay on the same track as Ponzor, uploaded within minutes of Ponzor and Riolu's main profile on the very same day. In total, Riolu received 8,000 coppers from this one competition. The run on Cyrox's profile had also been driven with Riolu's display name at the time, and then been modified to Cyrox before it was uploaded. There's also one other record on the Cyrox profile, and that one is driven on the login Hot Racer. This is also the login that Cyrox wants the coppers paid out to. Doing a lookup on the account Hot Racer.
Okay, we're only 18 minutes of 58 minutes in, but it already feels like it's been proven, right? Like they've already linked him up pretty well here. So, Mana gonna surprise us with some interesting visual novels on stream. I don't think any of the ones that I want to play would be allowed on stream, unfortunately.
Racer shows that its current display name is Cyro, and downloading all the available replays from the in-game leaderboards shows it has used the nickname Kamip as well. This closely matches the fourth and final TMX profile that has Riolu replays on it, Ionex. Interestingly, we find that several of the thumbnails on maps uploaded by this user has the signature Cyro written on them. This user has 15 replays uploaded, and 13 of them are driven on the login xsamir. One is on the login CrashZor, and the final replay is an Accelerator 01. In the 13 replays driven on xsamir, the nickname Cyro is used 10 times, and Kamip is used twice as well, closely linking xsamir and Hot Racer together. We also realized we were on the right track when we found a
I was gonna say, I guess like I was saying a second ago, like it's already kind of all linked up, but I guess at this point they do need to find all of the accounts, don't they? Still though, like there's a lot to go here. Like how many accounts? Like how crazy does this get? Give us an example. I need to think on that.
cheated run on the xsamir account, uploaded in May of 2011 to the track 3 Strange Days. This run was likely driven in slow motion and displays the same jittery inputs that can be seen in Riolu's runs from the cheating report. The xsamir account went inactive in 2011 and remained that way for many years, until in 2017 it reappeared in a competition called the True Talent Cup. In an old video of this competition from Trackmania streamer Spammy, we can see that xsamir, or Absol as the display name, is competing, and setting times so impressive that others in the voice call are surprised.
Dude, Absol, who the hell is this guy? I have no idea who is that guy.
Since Riolu was considered the best United player in the world at the time, many had high expectations to see him compete, but unfortunately he showed up too late to compete, and was only able to watch Spam's stream. Riolu appeared in Spam's Twitch chat just after the mentions of Absol, and then continued to chat throughout the entire tournament. But if you pay attention to when he sends the messages, it is only between competition rounds, because as we now know, he was the one playing as Absol undercover in this tournament. In 2018, the xsamir account would take on a new identity, and we would officially get it confirmed that this account used to belong to Riolu, because that is also when Riolu gave this account to his friend Lars, so Lars could participate in other Trackmania United competitions. Riolu also cheated more than the one replay we discovered on this account, because when Nadeo scanned the leaderboards for cheated runs in
Man, how much of this guy's life was Trackmania?
July of 2021, xsamir was detected to have 19 cheated runs, resulting in the account getting banned. If you now try to enter the login details Lars was given, you will be presented with this notice. With xsamir confirmed to be Riolu's account, it likely confirms Hot Racer by proxy, as it has had the same display name multiple times. But now let's take a look at CrashZor, the third login seen on the profile Ionex, and see where that fits into the puzzle. The metastats for this login showed it was driving in the same zone as Riolu, in Dortmund, Germany. And a Google search of the display name Leandagu reveals that in 2015, someone suspected an account with the same name of cheating in Trackmania 2 Valley. These threads are the only time Riolu used the Dadimania forums, and he used them to defend the legitimacy of CrashZor for Leandagu's runs. CrashZor also ended up banned in Trackmania United Forever when the records were purged, having 16 cheated records in official mode. And interestingly, by analyzing surviving records from this account in Canyon, we can determine that it cheated with Cheat Engine, as the inputs are clearly inhuman there as well. CrashZor also had a few online records.
Crazy they can do this with these old files, yet how did no one know until 2021 you could like check inputs within these files? It seems crazy. Like, did the developers just add that like forever ago and just they just never told anyone, or it just seems crazy. I don't know. Also, I cannot think of any examples I can say on stream. Just realized you have Red Bull in your head. Well, it's actually 7 Bull. You know, the delicious energy drink 7 Bull. What, well known, delicious. Kitty's favorite, along with Pepsi. And can't think of the others. Trackmania's life, literally. Apparently,
that survive.
I mean, to be fair, he was like the cheater was a streamer at one point successfully, but he fucked that up. So, I don't know, it's just...
the purge. And perhaps most interesting is that the account goes inactive for around 3 years, from November 2016 until the 17th of April 2020. It then returns to play a few rounds online on the server Alpina Public. And by some miracle, only 2 hours after CrashSource returned to the game, Riolu decides to play on the same server on his livestream, after half a year of online inactivity on his main Trackmania United account. The final account we discovered is Buzzkill22. Not only does this login have the same name suffix as Ponzor, but it also exists on the Dortmund leaderboards, and by downloading the replays from the account, we can see it uses the very same nickname as Eddie, strongly indicating that these accounts are owned by the same person. Both of the accounts also have slow motion runs on them, though they are insignificant and likely ancient records. Every profile on Trackmania Exchange that has a Riolu replay upload.
Okay, I was about to say, how many accounts are we up to here? Like, goddamn. Like, seriously? 10 accounts. And counting.
Links back to him in clear patterns. And rather than being a
Oh, sorry, 11 accounts.
very long list of coincidences, we see it most likely that all these logins belong to Riolu. It might seem bizarre to have this many accounts in the game, as you would hardly find time to play on all of them. But once you see it through the lens of copper farming, it makes perfect sense. If you buy a
Oh. I'm guessing too, so because there was like those competition ones there with multiple races. So I'm guessing he was using like multiple accounts to enter these races to farm copper, because then he's guaranteed to get the win.
a fresh account and beat the gold medal on every track available in the campaign, it can net you over 12,000 coppers, as well as increasing your daily gains by 50. Another strategy used by players is to buy a previously owned account. These can often be found for cheaper on eBay and could have a treasure trove of unused coppers, as described here by the player Techno, who is notorious for having around 50 accounts in Trackmania United Forever, and has managed to accrue over 3 million coppers this way. Anyway, if these other logins belong to Riolu over the years, then it is very likely that Ponzor22 now does as well. But let's remember that a lot can happen in 14 years. In the same
14 years. I don't know, I don't know, I envy people who can enjoy a single game this much for this long. Like the people still playing Diablo 2 and like people who play Age of Empires as their main game still and stuff, like, I don't know. I kind of envy that. I've never had a game that I have been that attached to. I don't know. Ellie Sinsray, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. So many personality to keep up with. Well, I guess it's all one personality. Or, yeah, I don't know. It's pretty wild. But it is, yeah.
same way that Riolu gave the Examir account to Lars, Lars could have passed
Although there was the, yeah, like giving the account and stuff too, like.
that account onto someone else. And though Riolu matches the profile of knowledge and skill needed to be fake Eddie, it is still technically possible that someone else could have gotten this account. The most satisfying answer to a mystery is one that leaves no room for doubt or speculation. And in order to achieve that, we have to analyze more replays.
Trackmania, bro, in a chokehold. Yeah, I mean, like, so I kind of envy that type of thing, but in this case, it's someone who was, like, cheating for, like, the better part of, like, 10 years. And just, I don't even know what that is. That's, like, some weird narcissism, obsession shit. I don't know. Like, if you just play for that long and you've been going for records, and, like, I kind of envy that, like, being able to enjoy something for so long and be so dedicated to it. Like, I like that. But you mix in the cheating and it's just like, for that long, like, what? I can only think like narcissism. That's what comes to mind. Maybe I'm going in the complete wrong direction. It's just, it's got that feeling of narcissism of like, you cheating and thinking like, you know, you can get away with it because you're better than them, smarter than them. You know, I don't know, that kind of shit, but or maybe, I don't know, maybe it's something else. Some like someone who knows they'll never be on the leaderboards through skill. I don't know, because if you're that dedicated, I don't know. I'd go in circles thinking about this too much. Yeah, I can never stick to a game for so long. Yeah. I've had my games that I really stuck to, but like Call of Duty 4 was a big one for me. I put a few thousand hours into that. I got really good and a lot of good memories there. But most there's not that many games I've put 1,000 hours into. I think Ark got up there. Minecraft certainly well over 1,000. I mean, well, if you're talking MMORPGs, they're exceptions. There's a few of those.
In the next phase of the
Yeah, it's giving superiority complex. Yeah, I don't know. It's just that's some obsession shit when it's like over that many years. Crazy. And I said, I feel like there's no way they're going to stop at this point, right? Even if all of this comes out and everything, with the way they are, it wouldn't surprise me if they're already onto a new account that no one knows about.
Investigation, we scanned all available replays on the official in-game ladder. To do this, we got the help of Trackmania genius Tomashu. After downloading all replays from logins related to Riolu, Tomashu crucially realized that records driven in official mode actually have a date and timestamp of when they were registered on Nadeo servers, something that nobody in the community knew up until then. Another important detail is that if a player had downloaded the competitive patch, information about which specific input device they used would be saved in the replay file. This was commonplace knowledge, but it was previously thought that once a record is submitted to Nadeo servers, this information would no longer be written into the replay file. But Tomashu discovered it's actually still there. These two data points could be used to identify patterns between several logins, and since nobody knew this information existed, they never thought to shield themselves against it. One question that came up frequently in the investigation was, if Riolu is fake Eddie, then who on earth is 92Bob? It seemed unlikely that Riolu would find the time to smurf on several accounts at the same time, but the timeline of known activity from 92Bob and fake Eddie lined up surprisingly well. 92Bob first appears just after the cheating scandal, and remains active from June 2021 until December 2022. At that point, the account had reached 200 million points and stopped playing.
Damn.
Shortly after, in January of 2023, Fake Eddie posts his first YouTube video and proceeds to stay active until October 2024, where he drove his last known record in Trackmania Lagoon. And 1 week later, 92Bob returned to Trackmania United Forever. Though the investigation was originally focused on Eddie, these new data points made us take a much closer look at 92Bob as well. When we compared the timestamps of activity between the logins we knew Eddie had access to and 92Bob, an unbelievable pattern emerged. It starts on the 25th of September 2021, when Buzzkill becomes active again after almost 10 years of inactivity, and rapidly starts setting records.
Another _22 name.
When looking at how much time passes between each record, it's sometimes as little as only 30 seconds, making it clear that the player could only be doing one thing: farming coppers by beating gold medals. And shortly after this streak of records from Buzzkill concludes, 92Bob sets a new personal best. On the 24th of October, the same thing happens. On the 31st of October, the same thing happens. Shortly after these personal bests from Bob, the Ponzer 22 account becomes active again as well, and farms coppers in the same way for 3 hours. And after the harvest, Bob again sets a new personal best. This pattern of the stolen Eddie accounts farming coppers and Bob setting a new PB can be seen again and again throughout the end of 2021. In 2022, the pattern continues, only that now 92Bob and the Eddie accounts have started using the competitive patch, which contains data about the input device used. And wouldn't you know it, they also use the same controller. The way this data is saved is by looking at the vendor ID and product ID of the USB devices connected to the game. When looking up the vendor ID that appears in Eddie and 92Bob's replays, it shows he's using a controller from Big Ben Interactive Limited. Looking at the Wikipedia page of this company shows that Big Ben has rebranded to Nakon. On the 8th of March 2021, Riolu posted about receiving the asymmetric wireless controller on Twitter, as Nakon were one of the main sponsors of his esport organization. To figure out if this was the controller with the same product ID.
Yeah, but if it was like an Xbox controller or something, it's so much more common, but that's like super obscure. I've never even heard of that brand.
As we see in 92Bob and Fake Eddie's replays, I decided to purchase one, making sure to get one with the same packaging. I plugged it in.
I mean, it looks pretty good, but yeah, I've never heard of that brand.
And drove a replay, and wouldn't you know it, it has the same product ID. Vendor 146B, product 609. If both logins were using a standard Xbox or PS5 controller, it would be easy to write this off as a coincidence.
Yeah.
But Nakon is a rather niche brand, and seeing both these logins driving the same map, same day, 10 minutes apart with the same controller is very suspect. When looking at the timestamps, we also assumed that when there were gaps in the data, Bob was likely farming coppers via other accounts, and we came up with a smart way of identifying them. You see, there's one more way of gaining coppers in Trackmania United Forever, and that is by logging in to the Mania Zone forums once a week. This gives you a bonus of 100 coppers. Since the profile page of each player has a timestamp for when they register on the forums and when their last sign-in was, we came up with the idea to look for registrations and recent sign-ins that matched Bob and Fake Eddie. The imposter made this work rather easy.
Also, props to him for actually using that microphone properly. So many streamers use it weird.
Registrations and recent sign-ins that matched Bob and Fake Eddie. The imposter made this work rather easy for us, as he decided to register most of the accounts minutes apart on the same day. On the 17th of August 2024, we see the Eddie accounts, Ponzor and Buskill, register on the site, preceded and followed by a horde of accounts in the same 5 minutes. Keep in mind that activity on these forums is completely dead, and I want to be exceptionally clear that a series of logins and last active timestamps matching this closely several weeks in a row doesn't happen by accident. The imposter was a bit more careful with 92Bob, as that account doesn't register on the forums till the 10th of October.
Sus? Well, very sus.
But Bob's recent sign-ins match exactly with some of the accounts spotted earlier. We now had a list of 15 accounts, all logging in at the same time on the forums to collect coppers and using the same controller that we know Riolu has. If having one identical controller wasn't rare enough, Fake Eddie and 92Bob and 2 other copper smurfs can be seen with 2 matching controllers connected. The Nakon controller and an Xbox 360 controller, both plugged into the PC when their records were set. Bob, Joe Urch, and Ludosflud did this a few hours apart, whereas the Fake Eddie ones with this combination happened a few months earlier. Another strange account on this new list was Graphics72, since this is an account that Techno had told me earlier used to belong to him. I decided to contact Techno about it, and interestingly, Techno said he at one point gave the password of Graphics72 to Riolu in order to smurf online together, and when he tried to connect to it now, he no longer had access to it. Logging in just one time on someone's account in Trackmania United Forever is enough to be able to hijack it, as you can change the email address on the profile page, and then request a new password sent to your new email address without any 2-factor confirmation from the old email. Techno was able to confirm through his backups that he had the password to Graphics72 until early 2020 at least, but it had been changed between then and now.
This is wilder than the Elon Musk scandal. Yo, that was just kind of sad. Insane, yeah.
But apart from just using these accounts to farm coppers, another pattern that emerged is that these accounts would all routinely flood specific leaderboards with records. Sometimes it was just doing one run on each account, minutes apart. Other times it was an attempt at taking over the top 10 on a track with as many accounts as possible. Doing this completely ruins the competition on those tracks, and it got several people in the community to wonder who was doing all of this. Many wrongly assumed at the time that these accounts belonged to BlackQ, a notorious troll in Trackmania United. BlackQ said he had no knowledge of these accounts, and BlackQ is confirmed not to be 92Bob. He did, however, pretend to be 92Bob at one point as an attempt at getting a Nadeo employee to delete all of 92Bob's records, but he was unable to show he had ownership of the account, and thus nothing happened to Bob's records. This story is corroborated from the Nadeo employee. After much frustration with Bob being anonymous, he also notoriously and reprehensibly tried to figure out 92Bob's location by sending him an IP address grabber, disguised as a YouTube link via the in-game mail system. But fortunately, Bob never clicked on the link. This action was a stretch.
Wait, what? How? That is a normal YouTube link. I'm not sure what the AND-AB part is. What does AND-AB do? I have no idea what AND-AB is. Curious. I wouldn't think it's anything though. How would that be an IP grabber? You probably change the display text, have a link go elsewhere. I mean that would make sense on like a website. Pretty weird if you could do that in a regular message like this. Maybe though. I guess if it's like a HTML email, I guess you could do that. Which, damn, that's super dodgy. Yeah, I guess maybe it could, I mean, it could support HTML, yeah.
System.
Fair
But
point.
fortunately, Bob never clicked on the link. This action was a stretch too far and has been shunned by the entire community, but it also serves as great proof that BlackQ isn't Bob. Someone so hellbent on figuring out Bob's identity wouldn't themselves be behind the account. And before you get your tinfoil hat on, analysis of BlackQ's replays has also shown he uses a different controller. He has livestreamed himself playing at the same time as Bob has achieved records, and he doesn't have any link to any of the copper farming accounts, so no. Out of the accounts that have been flooding the leaderboards, the strangest of them is General Cool. On the 12th of January 2022, this account started playing official mode, both farming coppers and also setting very strong times on select tracks. Once you set a record in the top 10, your display name in-game is shown to everyone. The inexplicable thing about General Cool is that the display name this account was using was the full real name of the player Mizu, and whoever was doing this was essentially doxing him for no apparent reason. Mizu's real name was not known in the community, only by his closest friends that he had added on Facebook, and he couldn't understand why any of them would do something like this. Other players were also lost for reasons why anyone would do this. At the time, it was wrongly assumed that the player behind these accounts was, again, BlackQ, since he would often try to troll Mizu. And for a period, BlackQ did things like driving records with an exact copy of Mizu's in-game display name, causing a lot of confusion. So it wasn't unthinkable that General Cool could be him. But in April of 2022, BlackQ felt sorry for trolling the community, and requested that Nadeo delete all the records on the accounts he owned.
Maybe you can track down who and gives out the account to click the link. Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, it's just a normal, like, message. Like, but... yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think like the possibility of it being like HTML supported, I guess, but it looked like just a normal kind of in-game, or not in-game, like a typical message on a website type of thing, but yeah, I don't know. I've never seen the and AB though. Like at the end of the URL, it had like the V equals, then the video ID, and then and AB. I've never seen and AB. So I don't know what that is. But it shouldn't do anything dodgy.
Nadeo.
What if they had the same name but were different people? That would be goofy. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of insanity here. Like, it's such a web of like, I mean, how much time did this person put into Trackmania? It's like crazy.
Followed through and deleted all the records from several logins, like the logins Nevria, Bella Machina, and Fraser. But the General Cool account was never purged. In 2023, when BlackQ was asked why he never requested General Cool's removal, BlackQ said it was because the account wasn't his. Mizu says, who else would dox me on this random map? To which BlackQ responds, I have my limits, dude. Trolling, sure, but not doxing and shit. And in this instance, we actually know it wasn't BlackQ. The evidence points to that whoever is behind the fake Eddie accounts, Buzzkill22 and Ponzer22, is likely the one who doxed Mizu. On the 3rd of April 2022, the General Cool account can be seen in a cluster playing the exact same map as Buzzkill22 and the other copper farming accounts, only minutes apart on the same controller. The same thing also happened 1 month earlier, in March of 2022 on the track Coast C4. Here General Cool is playing in the same cluster as Ponzer22.
And the thing is, I don't know if most of this would even be a problem if they didn't cheat, right? I mean, I guess some of the copper farming techniques are like questionable. But if it was all still towards having to like still play normal and genuinely get the records, I mean, I don't know if that like where that would land them. But obviously it's like this combined with the cheating that really brings it up. But I don't have a good enough understanding of like how these things are. Like if this would be considered like dodgy but ultimately fine if it wasn't for the cheating, or if some of these copper farming techniques actually kind of go against rules they have, or... Because, I mean, it doesn't seem like it's against the rules or anything to have multiple accounts. But, obviously, yeah, the cheating is mixed into this is the big thing.
where all of the accounts set records minutes apart from one another. This incident is before any of the accounts used the competitive patch, so we do not have any controller data for that streak. But the same thing happens 2 years later, in September of 2024, when General Cool, together with Buzzkill and many of the other copper farming accounts, drive one run after another on AO8 Endurance, again on the same Nakon controller. General Cool's first registration on the Mania Zone forums happens 4 minutes and 5 seconds after Ponsor, and 2 minutes and 56 seconds after Buzzkill, and his most recent sign-in at the time of making this video happens on the 30th of January, which is 1 minute and 36 seconds after Buzzkill22's most recent sign-in. On the 30th of January, we also see several other accounts log in within the same 5 minutes, and especially of note are the accounts Ludoslud, Christian Klosa, and Krafix. For Krafix and Christian Klosa, their sign-up dates matched within minutes of Ponsor, Buzzkill, and the lot, and their last active timestamp matched within minutes of 92bob, on the 5th of January. As mentioned earlier, Techno doesn't have access to the Krafix account anymore, and when asked about this specific forum sign-in, he said it wasn't him. To try to claim that all these things are a coincidence would be foolish. We can, based on all these factors, conclude that the person who is behind the fake Eddie account and the 92bob account is the same person who is currently in possession of the General Cool account now. Most strongly evidenced by these accounts playing minutes apart on the same controller in April of 2022. When it comes to establishing exactly who was using the account to dox Mizu in January of 2022, I cannot say for sure, especially since doxing is considered a crime, and I don't want to open myself up to a defamation lawsuit. But that being said, if we were to entertain a scenario, what hypothetical reasons could Riolu have to dox Mizu? Well, shortly after the cheating scandal in 2021, Mizu changed his profile picture on Twitter to a picture of Riolu, and has kept that as his profile picture ever since. On the 30th of July 2021, he posted what at a glance could look like a twit-longer apology from Riolu, in order to troll the community. And in December of 2021, only weeks before the doxing happened, Mizu also posted on Twitter expressing a dislike for Riolu. But that's just one of many possible scenarios, I'm sure. Luckily, Nadeo has greater tools available, and they should be able to figure out who the doxer is by checking the hardware ID of the account. Hardware IDs are like the serial numbers of your computer, and uniquely identifies your exact computer to the game. The doxer, without a doubt, has other active accounts in the community, since nobody joins a game and is casually able to drive top 10 times, while at the same time randomly deciding to dox a community member. By matching General Cool's hardware ID at the time against other accounts, Nadeo should be able to conclusively prove who the doxer is, and I hope they take this as seriously as it should be taken, as this relates to every Trackmania player's online safety. That strange incident aside, the final piece of information we could gather from these new accounts was the car skins they used. All replays in Trackmania contain the file name of the car skin that was used in the record. Even if the skin might not load for you, it is still saved as a name in the replay file. Digging deep into the archives, we found a Twitch stream from Riolu where he is playing Trackmania United Forever in 2020, and browsing through the pages of his car skins. From the skins that can be seen, many are default ones. Others are very popular ones that can be downloaded on a website called Mania Park. But he also has some very rare skins that there are no publicly known downloads for. We wrote down the names of all the visible skins from that stream, and then
I didn't realize the latest Trackmania, like the one that's just called Trackmania now, is actually a free game. I'm guessing there's a lot of microtransactions.
compare them to the file names we can see in the replays. On 92bob, he is exceptionally careful to only drive with skins that are available by default. But on the Smurf account, he is far more careless, and uses many of the very same skins we saw Riolu had locally downloaded. For example, Ludoslud, the account with the same forum sign-in timestamp as 92bob, used the skin Bay Technoface. When asking Techno about this, he said he created the skin in 2011, and shared them with a couple of friends at the time. This is a skin Riolu had in 2020, but there has not been a public available download for it.
Wait, you can create skins? That's awesome.
In well over a decade. The other most interesting find is the 1 Alpine car skins. The special thing about these is that they were initially created for a snow car mod in Trackmania 2. After Riolu played this mod and liked the skins, he personally requested Florentius, the skin creator, to make them compatible with Trackmania United Forever. Florentius never shared the skins with anyone else, so the only way someone else than Riolu could have gotten them is if Riolu sent the link to them. 6 out of the copper farming accounts we discovered are using these 1 Alpine skins. It is of course very curious that during the time General Cool was actively doxing Mizu, he was setting some records with the 1 Alpine Rainbolt skin. But there's one final detail we discovered that completely seals the case beyond any and all doubt. And it is the fact that Eddie Rising is a real person. You see, when we took a closer look at the Buzzkill22 account, we discovered another login closely related to it, Gabriel996. This account built several tracks together with Buzzkill and uploaded them to a Trackmania Exchange profile. The email address registered on this Trackmania Exchange profile crucially had Gabriel's full name written. With this information, I contacted Gabriel on social media, and via his friends list, I found the actual Eddie Rising. I sent them both a shot in the dark message, and to my surprise, both answered. Up until this point, it had been assumed that Eddie Rising was a completely fabricated identity, but after my first few messages with him, it became clear that the reality was much more disturbing. Real Eddie's English isn't the best, but he said his in-game name in Trackmania used to be Ponzor, and confirmed it was his account after seeing a screenshot with the colors. I asked him what he knew about Accelerator01, Riolu's Trackmania account that drove a run uploaded to his profile, and to my disbelief, he said he's known Riolu since they were kids. Eddie said they hadn't spoken much after he quit Trackmania around 2010, but that back in the day, him and Riolu used to do parkour together daily, and when the weather was bad, they would talk on walkie-talkies and play games together. He said Riolu is the one who introduced him to Trackmania and they built several maps together. He said it was possible Riolu had driven some of the runs on his account and called one of the runs shown to him too good to have been driven by himself. Most importantly, Eddie confirmed that Eddie A was not him, meaning that whoever was using his account and his name now was impersonating him, without Eddie's knowledge or consent. The real Eddie did claim ownership of Ponzor22 and Buzzkill22, and gave—
Man, Ponzor. God, it's such a 2009 name. Good times. Do you think if a political figure was involved with the CIA or whatever institute would also get involved? I mean, that might be a slight escalation to what we're dealing with.
Gabriel could corroborate this in my conversation with him. Gabriel said Eddie was one of his school friends. He said he had played Trackmania in real life with Riolu as well, but that he hadn't seen him for about 15 years. Gabriel said that him and Eddie both at one point logged into Riolu's PC, and that, quote, "We definitely drove time races because Riolu was very good and could help us." Gabriel also said Eddie and Riolu used to be neighbors, and elaborated on having times driven for him, and thus giving Riolu access to the accounts. This discovery was truly shocking to me. With this, the entire Eddie Rising identity in Trackmania can conclusively be called fake, something that we already suspected, but not in a million years did I expect it to be based on the identity of a real person, and much less a childhood friend of Riolu, who Riolu introduced to Trackmania. After analyzing all available data from all of these different sources, the cold hard evidence all points in one direction. It is no coincidence that all of these logins use the same niche controller Riolu was given by a sponsor.
Yeah, that controller part, that's like a big one. Like that's such an easy matchup using a niche controller. Oh hell, it was defo, the superiority complex. Yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah. I can only think of so many ways that someone's brain would be to like go to this level with the cheating, like, because there's obviously an element of like, it's not like they're just cheating, like they're putting in a lot of time and hours to achieve what they're achieving. It's just mixed in with cheating, so it's like, yeah, like, because there's an absurd amount of hours that would go into everything they've done. Yeah. I'll be back in 1 sec. I'm just gonna grab my drink. It's probably frozen. Grab the Red Bull. Red Bull is for later. I have Ultra Peachy Keen Monster. Also, I am back. Thank you for waiting.
Available data from all of these different sources, the cold hard evidence all points in one direction. It is no coincidence that all of these logins use the same niche controller Riolu was given by a sponsor. It is no coincidence that the timestamps of records driven by these accounts match up so closely, that the Mania zone registration date and last active dates between them match up perfectly, and that many of the accounts use the same rare skins as we see on Riolu's PC. And when combined with the fact that whoever is behind the fake Eddie account must know certain things about the real Eddie, and that it just so happens that the real Eddie and Riolu were childhood.
Yeah, the rare car skins plus a niche controller, they're so easy to have been something else. And yet they're like huge factors for connecting these things. Like they probably didn't need them, but man, do they help. Welcome back, thank you. Sounds yummy. Yeah, they're pretty good.
Friends playing Trackmania together, that it just so happens that the real Eddie has logged into his Trackmania accounts on Riolu's computer, and the fact that whoever is fake Eddie and 92bob must 1. Be a world-class player, but 2. Have some reason to play anonymously, we believe all in all, exhaustively proves beyond any reasonable doubt that the person behind fake Eddie, 92bob, and all of the following accounts is Riolu. I'm sorry if you feel it has taken way too long in this video for me to say that, but I didn't want to leave any room for doubt and to leave any stone unturned.
I feel like it was pretty yeah, what was it, less than 20 minutes in, it seemed pretty solid.
I thought it's better to present all the available evidence rather than jumping to that conclusion prematurely. I would urge Nadeo to verify these findings by themselves by checking and identifying information I do not have access to, such as the hardware ID of these accounts. But I suspect that Nadeo already knows most of these things. They at least know the identity of 92bob since late 2021, and have chosen not to share it with the community, only stating that since 92bob's records are legitimate, they will allow him to compete on the leaderboards. The earliest 92bob records we have documented were driven in June of 2021, only 1 month after Riolu was exposed for cheating. My main goal with making this video has been to present all the information we discovered to the community.
I mean, people cheating and the people trying to get them all have a lot of passion. Oh yeah, for sure. I guess it's just like, because I mean, it's anyone who plays some of these games like 10 years, there's probably some level of, you could say, obsession or passion to the extreme or whatever, but the big difference is when whether you're impacting someone else, you know. And when you're cheating, you are having a negative impact potentially on a lot of people who care. Which, yeah, definitely twists things in a whole other direction.
But while doing so, I also want to interject my own opinion here, that I personally think allowing Riolu to immediately return to competing after 10 years of cheating with no suspension is disgraceful, especially to all the Trackmania players that have put great effort and pride towards their legitimate accomplishments. I don't necessarily think Riolu has to receive a permanent ban, but giving no punishment at all apart from
No, permanent ban seems pretty reasonable at this point.
having to create a new account really makes it seem like they don't care for the leaderboards. Especially when he cheated on a scale that affected every leaderboard in every major Trackmania game in the last 18 years. It's been close to 4 years since the cheating scandal, and not once in those 1300 days has he taken just 1 day.
Like, he had 42,000 followers on Twitch. That's good. Like, that's no joke. Man. That's just like, he just threw away a dream job right there.
To apologize. Instead of taking the time to make one apology video, he has found the time to make 65 Trackmania videos on the fake Eddie YouTube account.
Nah, for real, permanent ban him. Yeah, I mean, I feel like he's had his chances.
And instead of writing one apology to the community, he has written hundreds of YouTube comments on the fake Eddie YouTube account, while also infiltrating communities on Trackmania United.
Also super weird, like, using the real name of his, like, childhood friend.
And in Trackmania Lagoon under a new name. Before we go on, I want to make it clear that the actual investigation part of the video is finished. The next portion is merely an opportunity I'm going to use to talk about the toxicity that is plaguing Trackmania. When trying to figure out if Riolu was driving on the Eddie accounts, we looked at all the comments written by fake Eddie on YouTube, and it has led to some peculiar findings. Through this process, we noticed 5 other accounts that would write comments on the same Trackmania videos as Eddie, sometimes only minutes apart. Videos on niche channels that only receive a couple of hundred views per video. These accounts all interact in the same threads, they use the same language, they have a strong dislike for the same players, and they reply to comments on old Riolu videos, shutting down people who mock his cheated records. On the list of accounts, you might recognize some of the names. We have Slobodan Medara Donovic, Swag, Cyro, and a username I'll only be pronouncing as Urine.
God, some people are so bad at things. Like, using the same language, how do you... it's just so dumb. Like, it's so easy to get around these things.
These accounts have left over 1,000 total comments on Trackmania videos in the last 4 years, and it is far too much data to analyze every comment here.
I feel like my mind is tuned for getting away with this stuff. I just don't engage with any of it. Because some of these things are like, they're so easy. Like, if you're going to use multiple accounts to do comments, like, you can just use AI. It's been available for years to achieve that. And even if you're not going to do that, like, calling someone a donut on 2 different accounts, that's so dumb. Like, that's not a common insult. Same language, they're throwing it away. Yeah. Like, there's just ways to handle it. I don't know. I mean, you could, not even using AI, like just a basic thing to like rewrite a sentence or... I don't know. I guess it depends. Like, some people are not as exposed to these available technologies and tools and stuff.
Here, nor is it the actual point of this video, but I'll share some short details about each account and how they link back to the imposter. Starting with Cyro, I mentioned a very similar username earlier on in the video, in the spiderweb of accounts associated with Riolu. On the following YouTube channels, Cyro has written 5 comments.
Is donut an insult I'm not familiar with? I mean, it's not a common one, but I suppose, like, I don't know, someone does something dumb and you call them like, oh, you fucking donut. I don't know, it kind of sounds like an insult. I don't know.
And 3 of them are within 1 minute of Fake Eddie commenting on the same channel. One of them in particular is a rather depressing comment, and as you'll see later, this is unfortunately a pattern. Cyro can also be seen as a user in Trackmania Discord servers, where he most actively discusses 92Bob and Nico. As a last anecdote, when I asked Nico if he knew anything about the Cyro98 account, he told me he used to suspect that it's Bob. Nico would often stream himself grinding tracks in Discord, and Cyro would watch muted in the voice call. Anytime Nico set a world record, Bob would contest them quickly afterwards. But as Nico says, perhaps it's just a coincidence. Next up is Slobodan Medara Donovic. The first time I heard about this account was because Nico messaged me and said he'd repeatedly been sent hateful comments by them. And from what I've seen, this account is one of the most toxic in the entire community. Normally I wouldn't bother wasting my own energy or yours on an anonymous hate account like this. But since it is specifically Slobodan Medara who wrote the comment I showed at the beginning, telling me to use my platform to expose toxicity,
How are you saying the whole name? I would just be calling them Slobo.
I figure it is warranted to take a look at some of the things he said. Slobodan Medara has the same activity patterns as Cyro and Eddie, writing YouTube comments minutes apart from Fake Eddie several times. This account has gone out of their way to reply to comments on ancient Riolu videos 9 times, shutting down comments that make fun of Riolu for cheating. And like Cyro, Slobodan Medara is also very pessimistic about Riolu's whereabouts. The Reddit user Puchus had long ago noticed that the Slobodan Medara Reddit account had 2 posts from 2013 where Slobodan shared videos from Riolu's YouTube channel, but these posts have since been deleted. After messaging him about it, he was able to track them down. On the 13th of June 2013, Slobodan shared the video of Riolu's world record on Canyon AO1 on the r/gaming subreddit, and on the 7th of July, he shared a video of Riolu's world record on Valley AO1 on r/gaming videos. Slobodan also left 2 now deleted comments on the first post, urging those who saw it to subscribe to Riolu's channel. It is of course possible that Slobodan was a super fan of Riolu and wanted more people to see his fantastic channel, but then one might wonder why he would delete the posts. Slobodan's comments on Reddit after the cheating scandal are often about 92Bob, and as Puchus noticed, predominantly about defending Riolu in several instances. And when I made my video about 92Bob last year, Slobodan wrote a grand total of 56 comments. It is first one streak of 15 comments on the day the video was posted, before returning one evening, almost half a year later, to drop another 41 comments.
Jesus. That's healthy. Okay.
In a Reddit post Slobodan wrote on the 27th of May, he argued that BlackQ should be permanently banned from the game, stating in his post that, quote, "In my opinion, he should be banished forever and none
Just a couple? Yeah, just a couple.
of his records, legit or not, should be uploaded anywhere. BlackQ has had enough chances to redeem himself within the community, and has spat on every chance he received sooner or later. The community should stop welcoming such individuals that are not contributing anything but a nothing burger. I believe this sends a really bad signal to players within the community, but also the people outside of the Trackmania bubble. Certain lines simply shouldn't be crossed, and patterns of behavior shouldn't be enabled, and I believe BlackHue is one of the very few players, if not the only ever in Trackmania existence, who deserves such a treatment. In order to avoid a lawsuit, which Slobodan did threaten in one of his comments, I will state it clearly that we don't know who is making the comments on the Slobodan Medora accounts. But hypothetically, if it does turn out to be Riolu, then I wonder if he would extend that line of thinking in the post to himself as well, or if this line of logic only applies to those who wronged him and not those he himself wronged. The last thing I'll say about this is that there just so happens to be a post in 2015 on the Cheat Engine forums from a user with the same exact username.
Just went down a rabbit hole learning about IP grabbers. It's interesting. Not sure yet how they make it look like YouTube link, but probably the display text, which wouldn't be too hard. What I found was you can have the video embedded on your own hosted website and log it. No, IP grabbing is very simple if you can get someone to go where you want to. Like, anyone who lands on a web page, you can just write a little script to grab, like, their IP. So if you make a link that is like to a specific thing that only one, like no one's going to find it publicly, then you send it to a specific person, you can get their IP. But in the example we saw, it looked like just a regular YouTube link in kind of like a, I mean, it looked like a typical like user to user message thing, like based on the Trackmania website or somewhere like that. So with something like that, you wouldn't normally be able to make like a HTML link or something. Because yeah, if you do a HTML link, you can make the display whatever you want. And you'll only know the destination if you look down like the bottom of your browser to see where it's actually going. But normally you wouldn't really get that in that type of messaging. Unless they like BB code, you can also do that with like BB code like you typically get on forums. You can make it look like whatever you want, same as like HTML. But yeah, in that case, I'm not really sure what it would have been. It was a little odd. Because it could have been like HTML, it's just, it's really odd that you'd be able to do that in like a regular on-site messages type thing. Hello, Penny Peenies. Hope you're doing well. What about the Mario Kart? I'm not sure. Maybe this person will move to Mario Kart after they get chased away from Trackmania.
The post reads, "Hey, I've stumbled across a little game on Uplay which I was trying to mod with Cheat Engine for single player purposes only. To make it work, I obviously have to hook the process to Cheat Engine, so I'm wondering if Uplay or Steam might get behind it, aka recognize it, and flag my account for hooking third-party tools to the game. Any information on that?" The timing of this post as it relates to Trackmania is peculiar, since just 2 weeks earlier, on the 16th of June 2015.
I mean, I'm just like mind-boggled about how much time went into all this. Like, this person spent over 10 years of their life playing Trackmania. And the way it is seems like it was like a daily thing. All these different accounts. And all to mix in with like cheating. Like, they could have just, I don't know, with how much they played, the fact that they built themselves a career on Twitch, like they had over 40,000 followers on Twitch. So that means that they were, because the cheating aside, they couldn't have been cheating, like if they were doing slow motion stuff and whatever with Cheat Engine to get records, that's not something you can be doing while you're live streaming. So this person had the knowledge and skill and the personality to be able to build a Twitch following playing this game. They built enough of a following that they could have made a career out of it. You know, for how long, who knows, but certainly probably quite a few years if they stuck with it. And now they have like nothing. Like, it's like if they just didn't cheat but still had this level of dedication, right now they could possibly have 100k followers, or even if they'd only made it to 50 or something, like they would still be, you know, a Twitch streamer with over 1,000 regular viewers making really good money. Man, that's rough. That is rough. I love Mario Kart so much, but the elusive last gold medal messed with me. He's really dedicated to get himself in the leaderboard. Yeah, I mean, he could have just used this dedication to have like a good life, which is, it's just kind of sad. Like, could have been a successful streamer playing a game he obviously really cares about, making some really good money. Like, yeah. Like, his Twitch account was already big enough to be able to get sponsors and good ad rates. And I mean, imagine like the game you're dedicated to, you could probably be making thousands of dollars every week playing it, and you just kind of like end up throwing it all away. Bro, I'm Penny from Brawl Stars. Oh, I haven't played Brawl Stars. Oh, okay. Well, I hope you're doing well, Penny from Brawl Stars. Yeah, I haven't played.
Ubisoft Nadeo unveiled
We've got 5 minutes left, and the next stream starts in 15 minutes.
their new game at E3, a Trackmania title that as a PC player would only be available on Uplay. In a reply in the responses he was given, he says, "Thankfully, it's not a Valve game, so I'll give it a try soon. Make of that
I have a gold medal on all but one track in Mario Kart Wii. It's just me out. Oh, really?
what you will." We have talked a lot about the YouTube comments now, and I don't want to drag out this part for longer than it has to be. But taking a quick look at the last two accounts on the list, they have also alluded to Riolu being gone. They post streaks of negative comments towards Nico, BlackQ, Kimura, Spammy, myself. They post comments on Riolu's old videos defending him. In October of 2021, shortly after Bob began farming coppers on all accounts, both of these accounts leave YouTube comments begging a top player for coppers. Uren just so happens to have created their account one day apart from Slobodan in 2014, and Swag created his account only 3 weeks after that. Then they don't comment on any of the Trackmania channels we see until 2021, where they all converge and repeatedly comment minutes apart from each other with the same opinions and the same language, too many times to be a coincidence. With all of these things in mind, it can therefore be argued that these comments on these accounts are written by the same person. And as for who that person is, since all these accounts connect back to Fake Eddie, I believe it is most likely Riolu writing these comments.
I mean, in the end, it's like they've essentially taken down his like network of accounts, but someone who's played this game this obsessively for this long, I can't imagine them being like, well, guess I'll move on. Like, they're probably just gonna like make a new account, buy some old accounts, and continue on like under completely new alias. How can you fumble this so bad? Yeah, I mean, he really fucked up. Like, it's so crazy just because of what he achieved outside of it. Like, to get 40,000 followers on Twitch, like, you've got to have something going. Like, you know, he obviously had enough personality to be holding viewers. He had enough skill to be playing live outside of any cheating. He had years and years of knowledge about this game. Like, he had all he needed. And to be fair, it still could have all crashed because he cheated before he started streaming, but he obviously continued doing it while streaming as well, and I don't know, it's just such a waste.
I am officially exhausted, and it's understandable if you are too. Looking at all of this and confronting all the nasty things has made this a very uncomfortable video to create. I thought a lot about if the video should even be made, and after contemplating it, I landed on yes, since the community deserves to know and see these things for themselves. I thought about how to make it in the best way possible, and realized that with a subject matter this heavy, there's no good answers. I could summarize the video in 30 seconds, saying, we discovered that rather than apologizing or taking accountability, the biggest cheater in Trackmania began playing on an anonymous account 1 month after being exposed.
And I feel like he's just gonna do it again.
Nadeo knows this and chose to keep the community in the dark about it with no further explanation.
Oh yeah, that's the part that's really fucking weird. Because there was that message like from one of their staff members saying they knew, I forget what exactly it was earlier, but yeah, like they knew one of the accounts, the 92 one or something. Like they said they know who it is, implying they know it's Riolu, but he hasn't cheated on that account, so it's gonna let him go or something. Like what? That's really weird.
We know Riolu further infiltrated multiple communities, using the identity of his childhood friend without that friend's consent or knowledge, possibly also using the general cool account to dox a player who strongly disliked his cheating, and possibly leaving 3 years worth of hate comments towards his main opponents on anonymous YouTube accounts.
That's like, why would you use your childhood friend's full name as like a YouTube channel and stuff. Like, that's so weird.
That all linked together in a spiderweb of matching activity, patterns of behavior, and language used. But without systematically going through the evidence, who's gonna believe all of that? The downside of making the video this long is that it inevitably could lead some people to think, it's just records in a game, lol, why are you taking it so seriously? All in all, I did the best I could. I made this video because
I mean, of course, you take it seriously. I mean, you know, it's a game you care about. I think that's fair enough. I mean, it's like anything competitive. It doesn't matter if it's just a game or whatever. Like, if it's competitive and someone's cheating, it's like, you're ruining it for all the people who care. You know, just because there's a lot of people who doesn't care, who don't play it, doesn't mean, like, you know, anything competitive has people who dedicate themselves to it. Of course they're gonna care, like, yeah.
I truly care about the game, and I want it to continue being a friendly and enjoyable environment to compete in. In order for that to happen, I really count on Nadeo to consider doing the following. I hope Nadeo can check the information only they have access to, such as hardware ID, to verify who has been flooding the leaderboard with the following accounts, and that they can ban these accounts and or the person doing it from the leaderboards. Next, I want Nadeo to figure out who doxed Misu on the general cool account, and I sincerely hope they take this case seriously as it borders on being an actual criminal offense. I hope they can identify.
No, it doesn't. I feel like a lot of people don't understand doxing. Yeah, I mean, that's really shitty of them and stuff, and it's weird, but it's not even remotely criminal.
Who stole Eddie's Trackmania accounts and impersonated him via hardware ID, and help him retrieve the accounts, as in my conversation with him, he seemed really eager to rediscover his childhood memories. And lastly, I hope Nadeo puts in stronger punishments for cheating, since it should be evident that enabling the worst offenders to compete with no suspension under new names only further propagates the problems in the community.
Yeah, that part's wild.
The things I hope that you as a viewer remember from this video is not all the depravity, but the stories like Nico's.
Almost 2 hour mark. Yeah, we're cutting it close, but we're doing okay. It's only a minute, 2 minutes left.
That when you make mistakes, you can better identify the path that leads to the best outcome. And also that when you see hateful comments, they likely stem from hurt and insecure people, who try to hurt others as a way of dealing with their own deficiencies.
Doxing is just gaining infos, maybe? Well, in general, other than some exceptions, doxing isn't illegal. People just seem to think it is. But there has to be more to it than simply posting someone's information generally isn't illegal. Now, posting someone's information with like added instructions or intent and stuff, that can be a different thing, but that's not the doxing that they're going to get in trouble for. Like, if you post someone's address and then you like add on like that people should go there or things like that, can get into a different thing. But generally, just posting someone's information isn't illegal. Just most people think it is.
The way you should deal with these things is not to write hateful comments back, and I urge.
And that's not to say whether it should be or not. Like, it can be really bad. It's just, in general, it's generally not illegal.
Everyone to stay civil and respectful to the players featured in this video. I will end with the announcement that I'm going to use some of the money this video makes to put up a cash bounty for the first player to drive a 1781 on the track Snow B1. For the past 2 years, the players in the Trackmania United Forever community have made a huge collective effort to try to repair the damage done by cheaters, by beating the cheated record on every official track legitimately. In the fall of 2024, there was only one cheated record left to beat, a 1781 by Riolu on the track Snow B1. Many of the best players got tantalizingly close with several 1781. Now that we know this record was driven by Riolu, it leaves me feeling that the legitimate players got snubbed from completing the project on their own, which they are absolutely capable of without his help. To reward the incoming achievement, I am putting up a $777 bounty. Surprisingly, that you have full requirements can be found in my Discord. That's pretty much all for now. Now that this is off my chest, I will return to making videos that I am passionate about and telling stories that inspire me, rather than internet drama. If you made it all the way here, thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing the discussion in the comments.
Okay, video done. And I kind of need to start the next stream. It worked out though, 7 minutes into the next stream. The timing worked out okay. Not perfect, but, you know. And yeah, there is like a follow-up. It does seem like this person got banned. There is like 2 more videos. There was a 22-minute one that was my viewers asked me tough questions about Riolu. And then there's a later video that's 5 minutes called They Actually Did It. And like the thumbnail's got like a ban thing. So I don't know exactly what happened from here or what that part was, but it does seem like this person got banned. So, but as I said, I don't see anything to stop them from not just continuing again. They can always make another account. Even if they get some sort of hardware ban, like, this person has played this game for, like, what, 10, 15 years? I feel like they're kind of at the obsessed level, especially with everything else. Like, so, you know, and Trackmania doesn't exactly have, like, massive requirements. Like, you can probably get a pretty cheap laptop to play it really well. So getting around a hardware ban's not that difficult either. Doxing legalized by Mana. An hour-long video is not passion. It was good. It was interesting. But yeah, it takes a lot to do this. Like, there would have been a lot that went into making this video. Like, all the stuff, yeah. Investigating and everything. Yeah. But I can't really ramble too much if I want to make my time. So, time for some look outside. Oh, got one dislike on this stream. I wonder what it was. Curious. No matter. But link in chat to the next stream. Yeah, if anyone's stopping here, thank you guys very much for hanging out. I really appreciate it. I would normally like ramble a little bit more after watching something like that, but it is 4 minutes to my next scheduled stream. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to playing Look Outside. It's all set up. I already have everything ready to go, so I only need to end this stream, start the next one. I will be a couple minutes. I'm just going to stretch and pee and stuff. And then, yeah. Oh no, maybe it's a cheetah, maybe. I mean, it could have been because I was rambling too much at some point, and I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's fine. Yeah, thank you guys for hanging out. I really appreciate it. I will see you in the next one, hopefully. Yeah, it's only 12:40. I got plenty of time, so we'll hopefully go for a long one, and yeah, I'll talk to you guys there. Thank you for hanging out for this video. I appreciate it. And yeah, if you're stopping here, be well, have a good rest of your day. Otherwise, I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.